With the release of Fusion Strike, Mew has taken the spotlight and proven it's a force to be reckoned with. In this rock, paper, scissors format of psychic, fighting, and dark, I believe one card stands out, Hoopa V. With a bunch of tricks up its sleeve, I believe that it could be one of the top decks in the format. With that being said, let's check it out. What's up guys, and today we're going to be talking about this Hoopa V and Genesect deck. So like I said, Hoopa V is going to be your main attacker, and Hoopa V with 220 HP is a Fusion Strike Pokemon with the ability Two-Face. As long as this Pokemon's in play, it is a Psychic and Dark Pokemon. And like I said, being a Dark Pokemon, you're hitting Mew for weakness. And now that you're Psychic, you're hitting Urshifu for weakness as well. And for 2 darkness and 1 colorless, Shadow Impact does 170 damage. When you pair that with weakness, that's 340. So that knocks out Mew and that knocks out Urshifu. With that being said, being a dark Pokemon, it has the grass weakness. So you're not sitting there gonna get one shot by Urshifu just because he comes up from the active. So Hoopa V is a very good card. The only problem is that it requires a lot of dark energies. And we have an answer for that. So we are running Hydreigon with the ability Dark Squall. As often as you like during your turn, you can drop as many darkness energies onto your Pokemon, or at least one of your Pokemon. And you know that translates to, if you draw 6 darkness energies, you can drop 6 darkness energies. So that fixes our Hoopa's cost attack. But what do we use for draw? Genesect V. If you don't know Genesect V by now, then you must not be playing. Genesect V is a Fusion Strike Pokemon with the ability Fusion Strike system. Once during your turn, you may draw cards until you have as many in your hand as you have Fusion Strike Pokemon in play. So when you have 1 Hydreigon, 3 Genesects, and 2 Hoopas, you can draw 6 cards. So this is kind of based off the Mew version of that deck, where you just try to get rid of your hand as much as possible. So we have a lot of cards to play like that. When we get into trainers, just know that we only run 15 Pokemon. Like, our goal is to get Hoopa V out as soon as possible, Genesect to mill through the deck, and then Hydreigon just to drop all the energies that we need. So we don't really need a lot here going on. And when we get into the trainers, our first trainer that we run is Battle VIP Pass. We run 3 of them. And Battle VIP Pass, what it does is you search your deck for 2 basic Pokemon, put them on your bench and shuffle your deck. And that sounds really good, except there's a catch to it. You can only use this card on your first turn, whether that means you're going first or you're going second first. So it's a very strong card with the drawback on it. But we have a couple of tips and tricks in here that we were going to talk about playing with Battle VIP Pass. The next trainer card we're going to be talking about is Evolution Incense. It is very important that we run 4 of these because we always want an Evolution Incense. We want to get our Deino into Hydreigon as soon as possible. That way we can start dropping all our darkness energies and start attacking as fast as we can. The next card I'm going to talk about is Power Tablet. As you know, Power Tablet, you can play this card from your hand and you're going to be doing 30 damage. Now, 30 damage is really important because in the scenarios where you can donk, you play 2 Power Tablets, get all those darkness energies off on 1 turn, you can hit for 230, and that knocks out most of the most important Vs in the game. A lot of Vs, especially Single Strike and Rapid Strike and all them, they only sit at 210, 200 HP. Being able to donk them and knock them out is super strong. Our search for the deck is Quick Ball. We want to use Quick Ball because not only does it allow us to grab basic Pokemon, but it allows us to discard cards from our hand as well. And thinning out our hand for Genesect's Fusion Strike system is very important. We run 4 Rare Candies because we want to pair that up with our 4 Evolution Incense. If we constantly get Marnie, or we use Marnie ourselves, or we can use Peony, we can always make sure we get an Evolution Incense and a Rare Candy. That way we can get like a turn 2 Hydreigon ready to go. Again, this deck is all about speed. The longer it takes for you to set up, the faster you're probably going to lose that match. So it's always very important to get your full bench out as soon as possible. Now, whether you go against a Suicune or not, that's a whole different story, because then you need to start playing differently. But we'll get into that later. The stadium of choice we're using is Training Court. Training Court is once during your each player's turn, that player may put a basic energy from the discard pile into their hand. Now, this may help the opponent, but this is probably going to help you out more than it helps them. Again, with Dark Squall, we're allowed to put as many dark energies as we want. So if your opponent's playing hammers, or you have to research, or Peony, you get rid of all the cards in your hand. So if you put a dark energy into your discard pile, you can constantly bring one up and then put it on one of your Pokemon. So essentially, Training Court is obviously there to recycle energies, and then just keep placing energies. If you get knocked out, you get your 3 energies in there, and you can grab your 3 energies and then put it back on your bench. So that's why there's a synergy there. We run 2 bosses orders because once the opponent sees that we're playing Hoopa, they kind of like to dance around us. So we kind of want to get those Mews, those Urshifus out as soon as possible. That way we can hit them for 340 as fast as we can. We play 4 Marnies because in some cases you don't want to just go through your whole hand. When we go against certain decks like mill decks and everything, that we're constantly drawing cards, and you could probably get to the end of your deck in 4 turns. In some situations you don't want to do that. In the case where you have Hydreigon, or you have a Deino on your bench, and you don't want to get rid of like an Evolution Incense or a Rare Candy, you can Marnie put it on the bottom of your deck, and that way you save your cards instead of just throwing them away. Because if you look at this list right now, we do not have anything to bring anything back. The only thing we can bring back are energies. So we don't want to discard Pokemon we don't need to. That's why we run 4 Marnies. We also run 4 Peonies. So the thing about this is that we run 4 Peonies, so if our first turn we can Peony, get 2 Battle VIP passes, and get 4 Pokemon on the bench. And that's stupid strong. Especially if you get a Hoopa and then like 3 Genesects, you're going to be constantly having that draw power. Because remember, when you use Peony, you discard your hand, you get 2 cards, you play those 2 cards, now you have no cards in your hand. Now you can draw up to 4 cards. And this is where the system starts working, because you start discarding cards, you start drawing cards, and now you start drawing more energies, and now you can just throw those energies on the field, and Hoopa V is hitting people for weakness. And it all works. It's a good synergy. We run 2 Air Balloons and 2 Cape of Toughness. Now, Air Balloons are for when people boss up your Genesect and you can't get it out of the active. We don't play Switch, but you could also replace this with Switch. And we run 2 Cape of Toughness for Hoopa. Now, Hoopa has 220, and 220, in this format is kind of low. When you add Cape of Toughness, it gives this Pokemon 50 plus HP. So Hoopa with 270 hitting for 170, you're doing a lot of damage. And then our energy count is 9 energies. And one thing I wanted to add onto this, Hoopa V's Shadow Impact attack does 170, but you have to put 3 damage counters on one of your Pokemon. So I prefer to put that on my Genesect. I like to spread them out, even though it's a little scary depending on what kind of archetype you're going against. If you can end the game within 2-3 turns, it doesn't really mean much. Or if you're running 2 Hydreigons on your bench, then you can just literally load one up. But remember, pay attention to your Pokemon's HP every time you're constantly doing attacks, because the longer the game goes, the more in the checkmate scenario you're going to be into when you have all this damage on all your Pokemon. With that being said, let's get into some matches. Alright, so we're going to start our game off, and our opponent gets to flip the coin. And we lose the coin flip, which is okay because we can use Peony, all that kind of good stuff going second. So that's why this deck isn't so bad going second. It actually wants to go second since it can use VIP Battle Pass and Peony. And we start off with this Mulligan. That's something you really don't want as a Mulligan. It's going to happen when you only run like 12 basic Pokemon. But hopefully we can take advantage of this and actually get something better. Like maybe start off with a Genesect, get a Hoopa, maybe a Deino. Or we can, just get Peonies and a Rare Candy. So yeah, that looks a lot better. That means we can get our VIP Battle Pass. And it's even better too because we have a Quick Ball as well. That means we can get a lot of Pokemon out. We could probably get a full bench if I remember correctly. And we're going against Mew Vmax, who's start off with the Latias. And our Genesect is just there chilling. They hit the Fog Crystal. More likely getting a Mew. And our opponent plays down the Mew. So I believe we're gonna go for like maybe a quick ball, one of the Peonies, get a Hoopa, and then Peony V. Oh yeah, put the energy down, then you know, get a Battle VIP Pass and stuff like that. That's the way, because if we can get 5 Pokemon out already, that means, and then we can use Genesect's attack or ability, the Future Strike system, then we'll be looking really good. So our opponent is just now getting his second Pokemon out, and it looks like it's gonna be a Genesect V. Play down the Fusion Strike energy, and I guess it looks like it's gonna be our turn after that. So we go, and we quick ball the Hydreigon, because I guess we're not gonna need it if we're gonna Peony, and we get our Hoopa. And like I said, we're going to play down our Hoopa. We're going to put the energy down. Hit the Peony. So now this is big. We get 2 Battle VIP passes. We'll play one of them. We grab our Deino and Genesect VIP Battle Pass again. And then we grab more. Another Genesect, another Hoopa. Fusion Strike system for a big 5 cards. And unfortunately, it turns off into something that we really didn't want. But at least we got the Marnie. So our opponent goes, and they draw the card. They play Evolution Incense, so more than likely get a Mew Vmax. And I just wanted to point something out. I'm sorry for this, but I actually had to chop a lot of this matchup apart because our opponent was taking forever on certain parts. So they were kind of dragging it out. But now we can get back into the match. They hit the energy search, so they're definitely looking for a psychic energy. That way they can put it on their Mew Vmax. And so again, they get the psychic energy. Put it on their Mew Vmax. And now our opponent can attack if they can switch out of the active. Because now that they used their energy for turn on Mew, they really can't move, so they hit that Peony. And they had a switch in their hands too, so which is really weird. And they got Cross Switcher, so now you're like, okay, that makes more sense. So now, which one's actually going to be the target? Because if we have Genesect V, at this point, I think they took our Deino, yeah. And so I guess they kind of see our strategy. And the Fusion Strike system for a big whopping 3 cards. Hopefully they don't get something they need. So again, we're kind of in the tough situation where now they took our energy engine out of the way. They hit the Fog Crystal and get a Mew. So this is probably going to slow us down to like another turn. Considering that, you know, Hoopa V needs 3 energies to attack, which is kind of a mild inconvenience. And our opponent quick balls. More than likely going to get a Genesect. The nice full art Peony. Alright, so our opponent Fusion Strike system for 5 cards, that's huge. That's actually a lot bigger than the 3 cards that they did earlier. And now our opponent puts down Old Cemetery. That means we'll take damage every time we put energy on one of our Pokemon that isn't Psychic. So remember, actually Old Cemetery doesn't affect Hoopa V. So we can put down energy on Hoopa V and not take any damage. And our opponent is trying to get, I'm assuming he's trying to figure out what attack they're going to do. So they do Max Miracle and then knock out our Deino. Okay, so they take 1 prize. But again, that 1 prize actually holds a lot of value because they're getting rid of our energy support. So now we literally have to manually attach energies. And so I was like, if I'm going to sacrifice a Pokemon, it's going to be Genesect V. Because we have multiple of them on there. So we go ahead, we hit the Marnie. try to disrupt our opponent, and we get what we need. Right, so we get the Deino, and like again we'll end up in the same situation where hopefully we don't get boss or anything. So we Fusion Strike, we get an Air Balloon, so we put that Air Balloon on our Genesect so we can move in and out, and then we Fusion Strike system one more time, and we get a Rare Candy. So it's okay, I guess. We're definitely not looking in the right situation. And now we pass off our turn to our opponent. Alright, so our opponent puts a Capture Energy on Mew. So that means he gets another Genesect. So now he can Fusion Strike system 3 times in one turn, if he can thin out his hand properly. And so now our opponent plays Marnie, so a little disruption, which is good for us because we didn't want to use those Power Tablets. I mean, we hit for weakness, but we wanted to use those Power Tablets just in case if we had to attack a Genesect. And we got another Marnie, so this is a game of Marnies. And then we got Training Court too, so which helps out a lot. Our opponent uses a Metal Saucer, and they use a Fog Crystal, so they're gonna get another energy. So then it looks like they whiff their Fog Crystal, and that kind of looks a lot better on our part. And so he Fusion Strike systems for 3 more cards. Hopefully he doesn't see any cards. So like every time an opponent Fusion Strike systems, it's always scary because like they're digging so far into their deck. If you look at the difference between us and them, we have 30 cards and they only have 22. And so our opponent Techno Blast knocks out our Genesect V, and we're only sitting in a rough spot. We're down 3 prizes, but now we can start doing something. So we get our energy. We actually get rid of Old Cemetery, and we play down our Dark Energy. We hit the Marnie. So now hopefully we can get into our Rare Candy. Oh, look, perfect. So we get into our Rare Candy and a Hydreigon. So now we can start placing down lots of energies. So we use our Rare Candy and we evolve. And see, this is where the beautiful part of the system. So we get rid of the Evolution Incense and we get another Hoopa. So because at this point we have 2 Fusion Strike systems, but we don't need much to make it go. And what we want to do is set up our backup attackers. So then I use Dark Squall to put 1 energy on Hoopa. We Fusion Strike system, and we didn't get exactly what we were looking for, but that's fine. We Dark Squall again. And see, because of a cross switcher, I was actually kind of worried, so I wanted to split my energies. Just in case I didn't want him to target 1 Hoopa V and then we're down 2 energies. And we Fusion Strike system again and we get another Peony. And I use Evolution Incense. I don't get anything because I'm not going to need anything, which I should have got a Hydreigon. That way I could Peony and thin out the deck. So we knock out the Mew for 1 attack. We do 340 damage and we start putting damage on our Genesect. Now again, remember when you're putting your damage on your Pokemon on the bench, be very careful that if you get boss's ordered, this Genesect V only has 160 HP. Alright, so our opponent promotes his Mew V with the Capture Energy, and he puts down Old Cemetery again. Which, it doesn't really... Well, I don't really understand, because Old Cemetery doesn't affect Hoopa V. So it was actually beneficial for both of us. So I don't know if he's gonna start playing energies on Genesect. And we're sitting really comfortable here, right? We have our Peonies. We have Power Tablets. We have 1 Dark Energy. We have another Training Court, so we can get another energy down. So we can actually accelerate the attack cost for 1 of the Hoopa Vs on the bench. And then we can take a hit because we do have Cape of Toughness. So it's not like, you know, we're stuck in a certain position where we're going to lose. We're actually going to win. So again, like I said, our opponent hit us with a Peony, and now we can think about the cross switcher play or something else. So our opponent gets a Power Tablet and a cross switcher. So now this is making me nervous because if they get enough Power Tablets, they could knock out our Hoopa V. Which I guess it's, you know, it's not a big deal because they only have 1 prize left. and then we can come in and literally just knock them out. But the cross switcher was scary because if they brought up our Genesect, I mean, I guess technically, if anything, whatever they did, they knocked out whoever they wanted to, we would still win. And him putting down the Oricorio didn't really matter because if we hit for 340, yeah, see, so that's game. We're gonna win either way because we had a checkmate scenario, especially with splitting the energies. Sometimes it's always really important to split energies. All right, and so we're gonna get into our second match of the day, and our opponent's gonna be flipping the coin, and they're gonna call the coin flip. Hopefully we win. I don't remember this match at all. And again, another opponent that's taking just a little bit longer than usual. And we actually won the coin flip, so you know we're definitely gonna go first. And we actually start off with a beautiful hand. All right, our opponent plays down a Pokemon. We're done. Everyone's getting their cards, and it looks like we're going against single strike. So we then Battle VIP Pass. We get our Deino. We get our Hoopa down. We get rid of one of the Peonies because we're gonna Peony next turn anyways. Get another Genesect. Play down the Genesect. Put the energy down. And we technically still can't Fusion Strike system because we have 3 cards in our hand and we have 3 Fusion Strike Pokemon. But it's alright. We're looking pretty damn good because we can play down the energy, hit the Peony, and evolve our Deino to Hydreigon, and then we can already start attacking. And so our opponent puts down Gengar V and another Houndoom. And it didn't really occur to me, but this is actually really scary going against a Gengar V. Because we play so many V Pokemon down that all he needs is 2 energies, and he's going to be swinging for a lot of damage. And then he grabs another Gengar V. Gets rid of it for Tower of Darkness for 2 cards. Great Ball. So we wonder what he's going to get. And he gets a Gengar Vmax. So now we got 2 options right here. We can either Marnie, put the Gengar on the bottom of the deck, or we can Peony and guarantee the amount of dark energies we need. And this is really situational because it can either be one or the other, and there's no really right or wrong answer. But we actually do hit the Peony, and we end up getting the Rare Candy and Evolution Incense, so we can start evolving and start, you know, spreading all our energies across the field. And so we get the Hydreigon, Rare Candy, evolve, so now we have access to Dark Squall, Fusion Strike system for 3, and we got another Hoopa. We use Dark Squall, we put the energy down, done. We put the Hoopa down, and we use the Power Tablet just to use the card, and we Fusion Strike system. And we get even more Genesects, which is wild. And we're going to use Evolution Incense for fail. And then we Fusion Strike system one more time. And we get another Power Tablet. So the reason why we're trying to dig through so many cards is because we needed it out. So at this point, what didn't occur to me was that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Vs. And so Gengar Vmax will be doing 300 damage. So he gets the switch, and he does the Marnie, which is kind of doing us a favor at this point because we didn't really have anything to thin our hand out. And it looks like that Marnie actually worked because we actually got something really good to put us in a better spot. But I guess our opponent didn't get anything, and that's how the match ended quickly. Hoopa V has proven that I can hit just as hard as Mew VMAX and Urshifu. Being part of that triangle in this format, but not having the weaknesses of Urshifu, makes us a better card than I would say Eternatus. With the two-faced ability, being able to hit those 2 for weakness and not be part of that weakness triangle just makes it so much better. And not only that, it's a Fusion Strike Pokemon that's able to abuse everything that Mew can. It just, I feel like this makes this deck close to tier 1 as possible. Not exactly tier 1, but with fine tuning, it could be there. So again, guys, check it out, play it, take some cards out, put some cards in, and if you modify it, just let me know. I want to see it. I want to see this deck evolve into something better. Again, if you enjoyed the video, please like the video and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers, at least before New Year's. A little ambitious. But But anyways, I hope you have a good night. I hope you enjoy the video. Peace.